I have these moments like right now where there's a video idea that I've been wanting to get out for a while, and I keep having this voice inside me saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But then most of me is like, I have to get this out. And whether I end up not even sharing it and just recording it for myself, either way, I need to do this. And most of the time, these turn out to be my favorite videos and sometimes the most popular, so I'm gonna go for it. This video is called To the Guy Who. So in my last video, I talked about being in a relationship. It was actually over 20 years ago, so it's a long time coming, with someone that I lived with. We were in a relationship with each other, and by the end of it, he had convinced himself as well as me, or was trying to convince me, that I had cheated on him. And this video is to that person. I never cheated on you. I've actually never cheated on anybody. But I definitely cheated on myself in that relationship. When I met you, I was really excited to meet someone who is completely different than what I thought I had experienced in the past. And I needed a fresh start, and I really was excited. I was looking forward to getting to know you more, and it was fun for me. But I had not done enough work on myself yet to figure out what it was that I really wanted. I was terrified of speaking up about my needs, and I was more inclined to think about other people's needs and think that they should come first. Maybe because I saw a lot of women in my family do that for the men in their family, and there were many things right from the beginning that I ignored with you that were not making me feel good. And I just thought, this must be because of me. Like, he must be being this way because I'm doing something wrong, so I need to fix all of that. So right from the start, I did not ask if you were actually in a relationship. I made assumptions. You made it sound like you were not in a relationship, but I never told you that. Maybe I hinted at it, but I never really came straight out and said it, that I was really disgusted that I would go to your place and find in cupboards and things like makeup and women's clothing and things that weren't usually shouldn't be in someone's place if they are not living with that person anymore, or if they're out of a relationship. And I found it really odd that you kept those things, or that you didn't take time to empty those things out. And I lied to myself that, because I think you said that, it had been a while and you just never got around to it. But there were so many things that started happening, including your own family, especially your brother, meeting me and telling me that you were in a relationship still. And that, how is it that, like, it's kind of interesting that I'm okay with that. And because you talked so badly about your family and about the dynamics that were going on with that and your exes, and I just wanted to believe you, because what reason would I have not to? But at the same time, I was completely disregarding my intuition. I was not even knowing how to create boundaries, how to ask for what it is that I felt comfortable with, and how to even understand that maybe just because I had feelings of attraction or intrigue or whatever, that doesn't mean that you're the right person for me. And I think that we were not even supposed to have that relationship. Obviously, we were, in the sense that karmically we did, but I think we were feeding off of each other's insecurities. I was so insecure. You worked in a field that you worked with a lot of people that were very, like, they needed to be attractive because they were on television and in movies, and very highly regarded for their looks. And I know that became a very important thing to you, and I started convincing myself that you were right, that I was just being insecure and not being supportive of you and your job. But your job and your career and how you went about it was very disrespectful in my eyes to me. I hated it when we went out to dinner or actually anywhere, and you had to be Mr. Charming and call every woman that you met beautiful or gorgeous, and also kind of tried to make me feel guilty for, going places, like taking me places and traveling and paying for things. But at the same time, you were giving me gifts as your girlfriend and as the woman that lived with you that were very similar, and sometimes the exact same thing as you were giving to some of your staff and people who, to this day, I still don't actually know if they were only people that you worked with or if there was something else, because there were lots of letters and emails that came with a "I love you" at the end, which seemed completely inappropriate to write to someone that you are just working with. I was absolutely mortified every time someone called from your business late at night, and especially these women that were supposed to be business partners of yours and obviously had no respect for our relationship, because they would call really late at night and give you their life story, sorrows that had nothing to do with business. And you would tell me that I was overreacting, that this is your business, that I was insecure. And two people that I specifically could feel were really disrespectful to me and our relationship. And you told me that I was just insecure, and they were two people who actually took off with your business, like took off with the furniture in it, the files, the name, the website, and never was an apology made to me. Never was there at all I should have listened to you, or even like consideration that just because I'm not a businesswoman, I am or was the woman in your life, or at least I thought I was. And you did not consider my feelings in terms of maybe I had a very intuitive sense of what was happening around me and around us. But the irony was that I didn't listen to it when it came to just you and me. I could hear it when it came to the people around you, and I didn't know how to say it in a way that made it so that I was standing up for myself, because I really wanted to believe that you were not doing anything wrong. And I wanted to believe it so badly that I started buying into your belief that I was doing something wrong. Yes, months, no, more than a year later, an ex was trying to email me and get in touch to just share his feelings of like sadness that we were not together anymore. And I was maybe being overly consoling, but I was never there with him physically. I did not plan to, never thought about getting together with him. They were just words of like, I will always care for you, but he was very aware that I was in a relationship. And that was part of the reason that he was reaching out, was because he was kind of saddened to hear that I had moved on and he maybe hadn't yet. But to turn it around and make it seem like I was the bad guy or the bad girl was really unfair. And I am not even creating this video for you. I don't even care. Like, I think the universe has plans, whether you're going to end up seeing it or not. It doesn't really matter to me, but I'm recording this video for me because I betrayed myself so much. People around us were, giving me signs. The universe is giving me signs. Your ex-girlfriend, your ex-wife, your kids, your people that you worked with were coming out of everywhere, sort of saying things, and I didn't want to believe them because I thought I was supporting my boyfriend, the person that I lived with, but I actually was not being supported. Maybe you think financially, or because we went on trips, or because we spent time together and you were the one that was investing in a lot of that because I didn't have the money to do that. Maybe you felt like you were being supportive of me in that way, and I do apologize if I didn't contribute enough there. And I also I didn't know how to be around you and clean house and do all those things because I never did them. Not because I was a spoiled brat, but because you had a very particular way of doing things and it kind of scared me. And I didn't want to ruin your folding pattern or your routine or how you wanted to go about organizing things, and I felt anxious about it. I couldn't even learn how to do it myself because I felt like it wouldn't be up to par of how you like things. And I do admit that that was my fault, because I should have said, hey, this is how I feel about this. What can we do? How can we both contribute? And how can it be made a little easier for me not to feel like I have to do it in a particular way? I should have said, hey, I really don't feel comfortable when you speak to women like that around me, because I feel like you think you're just being friendly, and your excuse was you're always trying to get clients, but where does the line get drawn? Because those clients and staff, it looked to them like you don't really have very much respect for me, because if my family or friends had seen or heard you talk like that to other women while you were with me, they would be like, what the fuck? Like, I would have been really embarrassed and really ashamed. But the way our lives went, we didn't spend time very much around other people, and I think that was underlying, like an underlying way of making sure that none of what was going on your side was witnessed by other people. Like, even if you weren't consciously doing that, I was very isolated. I wasn't hanging around with my friends because I was putting a lot of time and effort into us. But that meant I wasn't also getting other people's points of view to give me another viewpoint, another eye on, like, wait, this is not a healthy relationship. So I guess I'm doing this video because I believe that there are a lot of things that we hold inside of ourselves, and I have held on to this for a long time. For a while after we dated, I started questioning myself, like, am I a cheater? Am I a liar? Am I not faithful? And I apologized so much to myself back then. That me that I was back then, I am giving her so much love now and so much appreciation for everything that she went through, because there were a lot of things that, even if you weren't consciously doing them, really were hurtful to me. And maybe I just shouldn't have been in the relationship at all from the start. I'm sure there were a lot of things that we both learned from each other, and I can, if I really tried to think about it, there's probably big reasons that we were meant to be together, and there were some moments that were great. But overall, my impression of that relationship was that there was so much toxicity in it, and it was worse than relationships that I had where someone was like purposely being manipulative or not really even being there for me, or because that was my choice and it was a bad choice. But in terms of you and me, I didn't know that I wasn't being open to the signs that this was actually not a good match. Like, we were not a good match, but maybe energetically we were, because I was insecure, you were insecure about a lot of different things, and I know that you needed validation from people that had big time names and faces, and you wanted a lot of recognition. And I admired how hard you worked in your job and how much of an entrepreneur and you were, and how you just went out there and did things, and I love that. But I didn't feel the same conviction in me. It was like very, it was very much you wanting validation, and then me thinking that the reason that you wanted validation was because I was not good enough. And so I went along with your story that I was the cheater or I was the liar, and I wasn't. I was hurt. Someone from my past reached out to me to say that I meant a lot to them, and that I needed that at that time, but I was not reaching back out to say, oh, let's do something behind my partner's back, or let's, the romance part of that old relationship was completely gone. There was no like bringing that back. It was just probably something that came into my life just to say, hey, you're valued, because I wasn't feeling valued between you and me. And there were a lot of things that you tried to do to trick me into admitting that, that this communication was happening and stuff, but it was very manipulative, and the whole thing was toxic, and I'm admitting to being a part of it in that I did not speak up about how I was really feeling. I ignored everything that everyone was telling me. I ignored all the things that I found and what other people were saying about you, or because I didn't want to believe it. And I wanted to believe that we were something really big and important, and that this was like, I really wanted it to work. And I didn't realize that probably from the start it was doomed to fail, because I don't think you were being true to yourself or to me at the very beginning. And then by the end of it, you were trying to make me feel as if I was not being true to you. But actually, the truth was that I was not being true to myself at all. And I learned so much from that. I hurt so much from that. I grew from that so much. And I will never ignore those kind of signs again. I will always ask someone for what we are, what's happening. If I see something, if I feel disrespected in front of someone, unfortunately, I don't even have the energy anymore to talk about it. I just walk away. I'm like, this is not for me. Like, if that's how you talk to other women, or if that's how you need recognition and validation, and it resorts, like, the effect is that I am disrespected, I'm not even gonna wait around for that. I'm not gonna wait for an explanation. I'm not even gonna like give it a second. I just don't do it. So this video is not for you. It's for me to say, I have grown. It has taken a really long time. And I'm so excited for the woman that I've become because of all of that. And I know that I will never go back to that kind of situation. And yeah, this is an apology, not to you, but to myself. Thanks for listening. Any of you out there, if I do decide to post this, thank you. If you have some emotions, even if they are from years ago, that you haven't spoken out, that you haven't said out loud or written out loud, that need to get out of your system, I highly recommend make a video, write a letter to yourself, write a letter to the person that you want to speak to, even if you don't give it to them, even if they're not alive anymore. Write it, get it out. I will have an upcoming video about another process that a friend shared with me, another letter writing kind of thing that could be converted to a video as well. Like if you want to record a video or audio of you speaking. But it's not about writing to the person that you want to speak to. It's actually a little bit of a twist on that, which I will share soon. Thanks for listening.